Today we've got again a range-bound session as we've had this week, and or at least in the last couple of sessions. Metal stabilized more or less towards the end of the week. We've got telecom back in focus. Yes Bank was in focus on the back of the fundraising news. BPCL also for news triggers. ONGC still awaiting those numbers, and IT seemed to be seeing some kind of a comeback. Pharma was a mixed bag in terms of trade. But definitely in terms of news factors, it kept some of those stocks buzzing, and a revived focus even on some of the mid-cap names this week, for example. In financials, again, a mixed bag really. But we did, in terms of the insurance names, for example, it was mixed. On the NBFCs as well, select names are bouncing around, but not a trend entirely that we were seeing. In fact, a couple of the banks did see a slowdown towards the latter half of the week as well, but continue to be favored overall by our experts. It's been a good week for the likes of your DMart, for HUL, for a couple of those heavyweights in the consumption space and the FMCG space, even though they cooled off possibly towards the end of the week. Overall, they did definitely see that rally coming in. So a mixed bag, range bound towards the end of the session and towards the end of the week. Markets clearly, playing a little safe currently. The global overhang continues, but hasn't led to any kind of a major sell-off just as yet. Other stocks that looked weak today included a GAIL, an SBI, ITC. Auto continues to lag in trade more or less. IRCTC had a good week but cooled off today. We've continued to keep our eyes on the PSUs as well in light of all the news flow around divestment. And a couple of other mid-cap buzzers like an Ircon, for example. UPL had a good week, closed today up again about 2% from the heavyweight basket, of course. Lupin also stood out in today's session. Anything else you're catching around?
Just run you through some of the newsmakers then. You had those telcos, as you flagged off, in focus with respect to what the Apex Court directed. Now they have to pay up by the 17th of March. You've also got DMart in focus as the promoters are offloading nearly 1.5 crore shares via the OFS route. There's been ONGC still continue to eye this candidate as we're expecting the quarterly performance. Pfizer came out with its numbers. Margins were just about flat. The profits at 139 crore rupees. There was SpiceJet that delivered a 33% jump in its profit performance, while revenues came in at 3650 crores. The stock goes home with a nice 4% notch up. In the meantime, you also had something like a Shree Cements that delivered its quarterly performance. That continued to remain in focus. Page Industries lagged in trade on the back of its numbers that it delivered. It was a bit of a disappointment coming in. There was GMDC reacting to its quarterly performance, something like Granules, as well as the Sri Renuka Sugars. They continue to remain in focus. It's Lemon Tree that's seen a dhamaka set of numbers. You've got Future Retail, a little bit mixed, but the profits were down nearly, actually it was a disappointing set of numbers all in all. Hindustan Copper, a loss of about 95 crore rupees. So these have been some of the key movers in today's trading session. All in all, we go home with quite a severe cut for the broader markets. That's the mid-caps, down 160 points. The Nifty sub 12,150 by the time we wrap, and 200 points off on the Sensex.